Hey guys, and welcome to the lecture. I'm sure that by now you've encountered some error messages, but we haven't really done anything with them. There are at least two distinguishable types of errors: syntax errors and exceptions. I'm sure that you can recognize a syntax error. For example, if we were to print without brackets, you would get an error. We're told exactly what the error is right here. Now, let's look at exceptions. Even if a statement or expression is syntactically correct, it may cause an error when we attempt to execute it. Errors that we encounter during the execution are called exceptions, and we can actually handle them. Most exceptions are not handled by default, as we can see if we try 10 times 1 over 0, which tells us we're trying to divide by 0, and 4 plus spam times 3, where we're told spam isn't defined. Exceptions come in different types, and the type is printed as part of the message. The types we found were zero division error and name error. These exceptions are built-in exceptions, meaning they're defined by Python. We can easily handle these exceptions. Let's try that by going through an example. I'm going to go ahead and create a program that asks the user for input until a valid integer has been entered. Okay, so we have our loop. While true, we're going to try x equals int input amount, and then we break. Then except value error, we print out enter a valid number. Now let's try that. The try statement works like this. First, the try block is run, which is the content between the try and the except. The try block will keep on executing until we run into an error. So let's try and enter invalid into the input. We have an exception, so we'll look for an except clause with a matching exception type. I already know it's a value error, so I have that in there. So what happens is that the exception block is executed, and then we go back to the try statement. If an exception occurs but it doesn't match the exception named in the exception clause, then we would go to outer blocks to look for an except clause that can handle our exception. And if no handler is found, then we have an unhandled exception and the execution will stop. Now, let's enter a valid integer to exit our loop. Our try statement can actually have more than one except clause to handle different exceptions. At the most, a single handler will be executed. We can actually have multiple exceptions as a parenthesized tuple, so let's try that right now. We have our try, then asking the user for our input, our value error exception, which will print out value, and then this multiple exception statement. As you can see, we still get value like we expected, so this multiple accepts and parenthesized tuple works fine. Alright, let's do a quick recap of what we covered in this lecture. We talked about the difference between regular syntax errors and exceptions. Exceptions occur during runtime, and they actually can be handled. For sections of code that could cause an error, we have to place them inside a try block. Then, we use an except clause to handle the different types of errors that come up. If during execution of a block an error occurs, we try to find an except clause that can handle that error. If there is no handler found, then we have an unhandled exception and our program stops. Alright, that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you guys next time.